What is up, guys? Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So despite the markets being at all-time highs, S&P, Dow, NASDAQ, they're all crushing it. There's three stocks out there that I think are a bit oversold. They've been underperforming as of late, and I think these three stocks maybe, just maybe, could come back here in the next couple of weeks and do very well. So before we get into it, if you guys find value, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, make sure to get into the StriveSmart Discord chat, the Facebook group, get 2 free stocks from WeBull and 30 free bucks from M1 Finance. Those are linked down below. And if you guys want to be a part of the Patreon, get my buy and sell alerts, morning update videos, exclusive content. Check out that link right down below. We have about 35 patrons right now, and I do appreciate each and every one of you guys if you do support me on Patreon. And even if you're watching here on YouTube, that means a lot to me, of course, as well. So let's get into it. Stock number one you can see is FedEx, ticker symbol FDX. And throughout this past year, we obviously know what's been happening. The CV, all these shutdowns, we're slowly, in these next couple of months, 9, 12, 16, 18 months, I believe we're slowly going to put the CV behind us. But the truth is, we're still kind of in it. And a lot of these internet-based companies and a lot of these transportation companies like FedEx, they benefited a ton because people were at home, they were ordering, FedEx was delivering these. Of course, we have Amazon, UPS, a bunch of other companies as well, but FedEx was in the mix. They were doing very well, and we saw a lot of killer earnings reports these past couple of quarters for FedEx. And take a look here on the yearly chart. The stock was at $88 back in March when the markets crashed, and it had 2 straight earnings reports that were solid, and the stock, as the markets were coming back as well, completely outperformed. I mean, this stock went from $88 all the way to $305 just about 2 months ago in the beginning of December, and it arguably got a bit ahead of itself, right? 2 earnings reports that were great. We had this past earnings report that I believe it wasn't as good, but either way, the stock clearly sold off, and that means, okay, the stock's getting a bit ahead of itself. We're taking some profits. Maybe we're looking to, rotate money out of FedEx. That's what a lot of investors, institutions were probably doing, as it did, like I just said, it went from 80 to 300. It pretty much almost 3.5x, so it did very well. So we're seeing some rotation out of FedEx, profit taking, weak hands being shaken out, whatever you want to call it. And it went from 305 to 230. So it was well in a bear market. I mean, it was down 25% at one point. And now it actually hit that bottom of about 230. And now it's trading at 258, 260. And this is actually a big moment of truth, let's put it that way, for FedEx here, because 260 was a resistance back in the middle of September, in the beginning of October. It was support back in October and in November. Obviously, once it broke the support, it became resistance again. So needless to say, and another thing here, it was resistance back in the middle of January, end of January. So needless to say, 260 is a big spot, a big moment of truth spot for FedEx, to the point where if it's able to break this point, I can see it maybe not get to 305 right away very quickly, but I could see it slowly start to fill this gap back up towards the 270s, 280s, 290s, and that would make it a pretty nice swing trade here. And again, this is a stock that's beaten down compared to the markets that are a bit, overheated. They're at all-time highs. So this could be one of those, I don't want to say slept on, but a bit oversold that could maybe outperform the market if we see a little market sell-off, or if the markets just stay a bit stagnant because they've ran up so much. So FedEx is definitely worth watching in my humble opinion, no doubt about it. Another one here is Rocket, ticker symbol RKT, Rocket Companies. And if you guys didn't know, this company is a Detroit-based holding company. It has a bunch of personal finance and consumer service brands, including Rocket Mortgage, Rocket Homes, Rocket Loans, Rocket Auto, Rock Central, Amrock, Core Digital Media, Rock Connections, Lendesk, and Edison Financial. So a bunch of, mini brands here under the holding company. And this stock has gone very, very poorly. Let's put it that way. From $35, now it's trading at about $21. It's dropped almost 40% from its peak. That is no joke, guys. That's a big drop. Well into a bear market. And this is a company that the CEO actually came out and said, you don't want to be short this stock. When did he say that? That was actually at the end of January. He said, Rocket Company CEO, quote unquote, this is not a stock you want to be short. And I haven't done a ridiculous amount of research into this, but for my brief research, this company has a pretty bright future. I mean, they're revolutionizing the way mortgages work. All these different personal finance and consumer services brand. They're just revolutionizing everything, and that's kind of what we're seeing with a lot of these different brands coming about, these companies, these SPACs, Open Door revolutionizing the home buying and selling process. You see this everywhere. I mean, Shopify, Amazon, of course. This is happening. This is real stuff. And Rocket Companies is in position, for my research, to take advantage of this. And I mean, it's down. And Lemonade's another one. LMND, that's another one, changing the game here. So these companies have a lot of potential moving forward. And this is down, from about $26 recently. And one thing worth mentioning on from a technical perspective here is we were downtrending. We were in this wedge, lower highs, higher lows as well. So we were kind of, squeezing deeper and deeper into this wedge. And recently, in the end of January, we actually broke out. We went from $19, $20 all the way to $26. We broke out of the wedge, showing the bulls, or rather the bulls showed us the momentum that the stock was creating, that it broke out of that wedge. That was a very good sign. And now we're actually trading right back at that wedge, but we're holding it as support right around $21. So I think as long as we can hold 21, get back into 22, 23 preferably, I think this could be a decent opportunity for a turnaround play back up to the mid-25s, $30 level even. And another thing worth mentioning, and going back to kind of what the CEO said, this stock could be primed for a short squeeze. I mean, we saw what happened with AMC, GameStop, all of those stocks last week, the week before. I mean, I don't think Rocket Companies is going to go like that. I mean, triple, 4X, 5X because of a short squeeze, because it's not being manipulated that way in terms of having such a big amount of shorts in it. But we do have a pretty decent amount of shorts in this stock. According to highshortinterest.com, the short interest right now is 31.3%. So 31.3% of the float out there, in other words, are people that are short the stock. So this could be a prime candidate for a short squeeze. And I mean, we saw it the other day. I mean, now that I'm looking at this was a short squeeze from $20 to $24 in a day. That's what it did back on the 25th of January. That was a 15% move. So that is what I think Rocket could do. And I might buy some. I might end up buying some. No joke. And yeah, you guys can see my buy and sells if you want. I'm not pushing it down your throat, but if you want, check out my Patreon. That is linked down below. We made some moves today, a bunch of posts there on Patreon for those of you guys that are interested. So go check that out. And the third stock here that is a bit oversold is Snowflake, SNOW. And it's not as oversold as FedEx and Rocket. In fact, Rocket is by far the most oversold out of all three of these. Rocket's down 40%, or it did go down 40%. Snow is down 25% from its peak, so this one's in a bear market. And FedEx, I think it's not in a bear market anymore. It was, though. It was down a little over 20%. Now FedEx is down about 15% from its peak. So Snowflake, if you guys didn't know, this was probably the hottest, if not top 3 hottest IPO in the past year. I mean, for sure, it was a high-profile one. A lot of big investors were involved with this IPO. And if you guys didn't know, Snowflake Inc., pretty weird name, Snowflake. I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't have thought a cloud-based company would be named that, but hey, whatever. Snowflake Inc. provides cloud-based data, a cloud-based data platform in the United States and internationally, and we can see the cloud space, the cloud business is becoming more and more competitive. Of course, I mean, it's kind of like one of the biggest growing businesses this day and age. So, of course, it's going to be competitive. And with competition, I mean, I think competition is great, guys. What you have to realize is you don't want there to only be one business in an industry. I mean, there could be, but I mean, if you're looking to have a successful business, you want competition because that means that there's actually a market. I mean, if there's not competition, that means that there's not many customers out there because there's no businesses going for those customers, if that makes any sense. So it's a good thing to have competition amongst all of these cloud companies. And Snowflake is it's making its name. And at this point in time, technically speaking, again, we got hit very hard. We're still down 25%, but at one point we were down even more. I mean, we hit 430. We got down to 260. That was a drop of almost 40%. So that's pretty close to what Rocket went down. And now we've recovered a good amount. You guys can see we squeezed out of 300. 300 was a big resistance from back in October, from back in the middle of December as well. And we also held a higher low at 260. That's great. So the uptrend is continuing overall. You guys can see it here. Let's see if I can show you. Actually, only the 6-month chart works because they only IPO'd a couple months ago. But either way, you know, this one I could see upwards potential from 310, where it is right now. As long as it holds 300, guys, I can see this go 340, maybe even 340 plus if it breaks 340, which is another big resistance coming up. But even from 310 to 340, that's about 8-9% upside. Even if it goes back down to 300, you pick up some shares at 300 and it goes to 340, that's 10-12% upside. So Snowflake is worth watching in a market that's a bit hot right now. It's overbought. But another thing worth mentioning, I don't want to leave you guys without this. This is another big point. If the markets in general, I mean the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, let's say we get a 5-10% correction in the markets, 15%, I mean it's likely these stocks are going to go down as well, but they might not go down as much as the market, or they might go down more. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Rocket and Snow, they'd probably go down more than the market. Since they are newer companies, they're more of in the high growth stage, let's say that. So those might go down more than the market. But with FedEx, I'm interested to see if we do get a pull down in the markets, what FedEx would do if it goes down more than the markets or if it goes down less than the markets. It's going to be interesting because it's underperformed the markets these past couple of months. So will it outperform the markets if the markets go down? We just have to wait and see. But overall, those are 3 oversold stocks that I'm interested in buying right now. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. As always, I would love to know. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to get yourself into the Strive Smart Discord chat, the Facebook group. Get 2 stocks from WeBull. Those are valued up to $1,600. All you have to do is deposit $100 and you get 2 free stocks. And you could also get $30 from M1 Finance. Simply open up an account using my link. And by the way, all of these links are right down below. And once you open up an account, deposit any amount of money, you get $30 from M1 Finance. And make sure to also check out the Patreon if you guys are interested for my buy and sell alerts, what stocks I'm currently looking at. You know, there's a morning update video every day for the top tier patrons there. And there's a bunch of exclusive content and posts and call outs throughout the day. So make sure you get yourself into that Patreon if you want to. That is also linked right down below. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, keep crushing the market. Stay safe out there, guys. Peace out.